Now that the battle for Portland has turned desperate, Antifa militants have deployed the strongest weapon in their arsenal. No, it's not the spray paint cans that have redecorated the exterior of the targeted ICE facility at the center of this conflict. No, it's not even the traditional Molotovs or surprise hammer attacks that we've seen deployed previously. Portland rioters have resorted to their nuclear option, their ultimate weapon, so there's no going back. With their backs now against the wall and their toes dangling over the cliff, in their final act of desperation, when the times are so dire that they have no other choice, they have now called the police Nazis. And they even tried the "fuck ICE" chant too. But to no effect. For once, even their trusty street chants weren't enough for mercy, because on Saturday night, for some yet-to-be-explained reason, Portland police forced the dismantling of Camp Antifa outside of the ICE facility in the southwest part of the city.
Antifa has fallen, everybody. Antifa down. Yeah.
In fact, the rioters were so thoroughly defeated, they suffered the ultimate indignity. They finally had to get a job cleaning up their own crap. And so instead of their usual weaponry, they were now armed with brooms. It looked like moving day at a college campus, with people carrying plastic totes full of a semester's worth of disgusting junk. And nobody was spared. Even Gramp Tifa had to get his rocking chair out of there. The encampment has been operating since June, with ongoing crime, including vandalism, violent attacks on journalists, and weaponized noise-making that has caused stress and outrage for neighbors living in the adjacent apartment building.
Turn that shit down! It's midnight! We the people need sleep!
And while it is true that Portland police have disrupted or swept this encampment a few times and it just returns immediately afterward, it's also true that there is something different this time. The police presence was much larger, some 30 officers deployed, and the city of Portland has typically hired a private company to clean up before, in the same way they do for homeless camps. This time, they had cops overseeing the takedown. And there clearly is a change in law enforcement philosophy here, because the Portland police officers on the scene said as much. Hey guys, you know all those low-level crimes you've been committing and we've just been allowing this whole time? Well, those aren't allowed anymore.
We are going to be more seriously enforcing over the next couple of days disorderly conduct in the second degree.
Suddenly, Portland police now care about protecting public access to the public thoroughfare.
If somebody goes in the street, they're blocking traffic, that's disorderly conduct second degree. People are going to be going to jail for that. People are going to be arrested.
Even though they previously enforced the other way. You, driver, stop. What the hell are you doing trying to use this open street?
What are you doing? That way. Do not go to the crowd of people. If you go to this crowd of people, you will be arrested. It is a public road, but right now there are people occupying it.
Suddenly, Portland police now care about stopping public nuisances.
If we see people drinking alcohol in public, that is a city code violation. We're going to be taking proper action on that.
Even though they allowed the nuisance all summer long. And the city fought the neighborhood lawsuit against them for it and beat that poor lady who just wants some sleep at night. And it's no mistake or misspeak from just that one cop. Portland police were clearly instructed on the plan. Here's another officer saying the same thing. Hey, we know we really haven't enforced against you guys at all, but now the times, they are a-changin'.
We haven't been enforcing is like the drinking in public, the standing in the middle of the street, you know, the blocking vehicles, discon, stuff like that. What we're going to do is we're giving everybody like a general warning right now. If you can stand on this sidewalk and peacefully protest, that's great. If you want to be over here with an open can, blocking traffic, doing all this stuff, then we're going to start enforcing those things.
And even the Camp Antifa General Counsel couldn't get them out of this one. With her best legal arguments.
Jaywalking, we're going to be seeing proper action on that. Something like this. We need to make sure we have sidewalks open.
Jaywalking is legal in Oregon.
Not under all circumstances.
Yes, it is.
And that's because her best legal arguments are just flat factually wrong. Now, jaywalking isn't technically the issue on these streets. It's the ongoing obstruction of traffic. Regardless, jaywalking is legal in Oregon under no circumstances, actually. There's state law against it. Pedestrians are required to follow traffic rules. I guess there is one exception, actually, if a police officer instructs you to do it. But that's kind of the point of this entire dispute, isn't it? If police instructions matter, Then pack up your law office, lady. Suddenly the police care about fire danger too. Oh, wow. You guys are storing lots of flammables? Well, I'll assume that's for your camp cookouts and not for any pending arson attacks, but still, I better get the fire department in here to evaluate.
We have this gasoline and kerosene.
Yes.
Is this stuff that you're using for your camp? If it's just
It is stuff that we use.
Okay, I'm going to ask a firefighter to come by to make sure this is safe, and if it's safe, then that's fine.
So the public fire danger was fine for the previous 4 summer months, but now that the constant Pacific Northwest rain is falling, we got to get this under control. Very odd timing. Once the flammables were deemed safe to move, the rioters started lifting probably more than they ever have in their lives, and one of them made a joke about protecting the assets of his investors.
Hey, I want to make sure George Soros gets his deposit back on the propane.
Well, credit for self-awareness. But seriously, though, is that a Soros propane tank? Because there is plenty of evidence of coordinated funding of these riots, including, yes, from the George Soros Open Society Foundation. But if police weren't ridiculous enough in their sudden change, the hypocrisy among the rioters themselves is even more so, because now that the law has turned against them, suddenly everyone needs to be respectful of their space. And please, honor their polite, neighborly requests.
Can you guys please give us some space?
No, we're on a sidewalk. You set up camp on a sidewalk. Get yourself off the sidewalk.
Yes, the greatest help others could offer is to clear the area. So please, be considerate. You should leave the sidewalk to make room for others.
The greatest help that you guys could be was to clear this area of people.
And actually, hey, Portland police, since you've served us so diligently up to this point, could you please just move our stuff for us too? It's too logistically difficult to figure out.
Hey, PBG, can you guys help us move our stuff?
If I drop it or...
Yeah, don't make moving complicated. Hire Nazis to do it. They have great attention to detail and excellent demonstrated skills in transporting large quantities of cargo over significant distances. But apparently the moving logistics were pretty difficult because in the end, the people were gone, but the piles of trash remained.
Antifa in Portland has lost their battle. You have absolutely nobody outside the ICE building right now. Their encampment has been completely shut down. It looks like a hoarder's house here, but you have quite literally everything from buckets full of medicine, toothpaste, floss. You have food right here. You have all sorts of medical gear as well. This could be the downfall of Antifa here in Portland, Oregon.
But the question still remains too, actually. Why? Why did Portland city leadership suddenly decide that Saturday was the day that this all became intolerable and finally had to stop? Sure, the political optics of ongoing crime are probably damaging, but that damage was already done a long time ago. There was no major new event outside of the norm there that would explain this sudden change. There wasn't a murder or some highly destructive attack on the ICE facility or some major escalation that would explain city leadership finally saying, okay, that's enough. This has to stop now. So it would seem that this change in enforcement is not a response to any change at the scene, or at least any change that's happened yet. But there is a change at the scene probably coming imminently, as in if Portland police don't clean it up now, the National Guard is about to. Trump's decision to deploy National Guard troops to the Portland ICE facility to protect agents and operations there has been tied up in the courts for weeks now. At the end of September, Trump announced the federalization of 200 Oregon National Guardsmen for Portland deployment. A district court judge put that move on hold, but that order only applied to Oregon, so Trump tried to deploy California Guardsmen to Portland instead. But the same district court judge blocked that one too. Trump appealed to the Ninth Circuit, and the panel put that first order applying to Oregon on hold, as in it's overruled, allowing Trump to take command of those Oregon troops, but the second order remained in effect. So for now, there is no actual deployment to Portland. So as it stands, it's something like, yes, Trump can theoretically deploy troops to Portland, but no, not like that. And as I record this video on Tuesday, we are awaiting a decision from the Ninth Circuit that could clarify the matter. The hold on the case extends until 5 p.m. Pacific, so some sort of decision is supposed to be issued before that deadline. To update, the decision came out right at that deadline. The Ninth Circuit says an 11-judge panel will now rehear the case, and that's a process that will likely take several weeks at minimum, so there won't be any Portland National Guard deployment immediately, though it remains possible in the general near future. The rest of this video was recorded before that ruling was out, but I think the reasoning generally stands. I think the city of Portland is now strategizing for the best argument they can make in court, not genuinely trying to protect the citizens and properly enforce the law. Now, of course, I can't say with certainty which way the court will go, but the prior Ninth Circuit ruling concluded it is likely the president lawfully exercised his statutory authority, which allows National Guard deployment to quell rebellion or to assist in federal law enforcement where enforcement is not possible using regular forces. Assuming the Ninth Circuit maintains that reasoning, which is a big assumption, actually, because this new decision will be made en banc, as in with all the judges on the Ninth Circuit, not just the 3-judge panel who made that prior decision. And the Ninth Circuit is known for unconstitutional commie nonsense. But assuming that reasoning holds, Trump would be free to make the deployment, and the city of Portland would have a few considerations. One, do we want the heightened tensions of Antifa rioters versus military personnel? And maybe they do, actually. I wouldn't be certain that they don't. But two, and I think probably more persuasive to city leadership, if Portland does the enforcement themselves, do they undercut a key Trump argument in court? Because, again, Trump's authority to deploy the Guard depends on the circumstances at the scene. If the necessary law enforcement is possible through the usual means, and there's nothing unusually out of control at the scene, well, then Trump's argument for why the deployment is valid is damaged. So we'll show him by doing exactly what he wants done. I think that's what's happening here. If the riot has to be stopped, Portland city leadership would prefer to do it themselves rather than to hand Trump the win of doing it despite them. But I don't think Trump or most Americans actually care how the goal is achieved. It's just about two basic things. One, not obstructing valid federal law enforcement, and two, making the city habitable for the people who live there. Nobody actually cares if Portland police do it or if the Oregon National Guardsmen do it. It's just about doing it. So for Portland city leadership, it's kind of like fighting a war with friendly fire or just shooting yourself in the foot. Yeah, sure, we got shot, but it wasn't the enemy who shot us, and that's important for some reason. Is it? Because I don't think you're winning a war that way. You need actual wins in pursuit of the objective, not just perceived wins in that your enemy didn't defeat you. Because if you defeat you, well, that is very often plenty good enough for your opposition anyway, no matter how you want to frame it to comfort yourself otherwise. And for whatever political convenience Portland city leadership thinks they've earned now, there's a new political obstacle in the form of a question that now must be answered. You allowed the criminality at Camp Antifa to persist for months, and then in one night showed that you had the full power to stop this the whole time and just didn't. Why not? And the only plausible answer is, well, the mob was useful to us for a while, but now they're not anymore, so they gotta go. And these masked buffoons will still chant things like power to the people and whose streets are streets, as though they've been anything but precision tools for politicians and elites the entire time. Thanks as always for listening and for supporting this channel. Always appreciate that thoughtful discussion down below, and especially over on X, that is at ML Christiansen. You're always welcome to coming out and chatting my live streams is live on Wednesday and Sunday nights. Looking forward to it. Goodbye.